Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and very hopeful time. And this is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of December 4th, 2013, and One Lamat, or Star, in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. We're also going to be talking about Mercury moving into Sagittarius and Mars moving into Libra. December 4th is One Lamat, or Star. This carries the themes of abundance, playfulness, fertility, growth, rightness, physical pleasure, spiritual inspiration, artistry, creation, joy, and humor. One Star is also known as One Rabbit or One Venus, and the glyph for Star is the planet Venus, which is associated with death and rebirth as Venus disappears as the evening star and then reappears as the morning star. And during the One Star Trecena, Venus is slowing down as it's preparing to move retrograde. Okay, which will then that will occur on the winter solstice. It's summer if you're south of the equator, on December 21st. And then it's going to lead to the inferior conjunction. So this is when Venus is in front of the Sun and cannot be seen due to its close proximity to the Sun, which lasts about 8 days and will be exact on January 11th, 2014. When Venus transits behind the Sun on the back arc here, this is called the superior conjunction, and it's not visible for about 50 days. And I think it's interesting that modern Mayanologists have emphasized the Venus transit across the face of the Sun in relation to Mayan cosmology, but the Dresden Codex which details the precise knowledge of the Venus's full cycle, makes no mention of the transit. It makes me wonder whether this is more of a modern projection onto the Maya, because although the Venus transit, which occurs every 243 years in pairs, occurs during this inferior conjunction when it's in front of the Sun, it's certainly a lesser energetic compared to the superior conjunction when Venus is hidden behind the Sun and they're traveling in the same direction. But after all, we Westerners, we love our pyrotechnics, and we might have missed the boat regarding the actual energetic as it relates to the spiritual realm. Venus is the evening star on this cycle here, after the superior conjunction and before the inferior conjunction, and this lasts approximately 260 days, and then it travels as the morning star after the inferior conjunction and before the superior conjunction, again for 260 days. And currently, right now, Venus has been very, very bright as the evening star. And it's interesting because this number, 260, is at exactly the length of a Tzolkin round. And One Star is the final Trecena of the 260-day round. So the next care and feeding will celebrate a new round with one Amish or crocodile on December 17th. And so I like to think of this 13-day period is about a time to be grateful for any abundance or harvest in our lives, whether it's food or spiritual insight. December is the 12th month, and with the digits of 2013, when we add them all together, we get the number 9. And in numerology, 9 month is a point where we're actually completing the arc, because the arc of numerology, the numbers go from 1 to 9. So 9 is the point of completion. But here's the thing: the numerology repeats. So whatever month November is, that's the same number for January. Whatever month number December is, it's the same number for February the next year. So the numerology for January and February 2014 repeat the November and December 2013 numerology, January being an 8-month, February being a 9-month. So the new cycle actually begins in March of next year, which is also, for those of living north of the equator, is the time of the spring equinox. So which is usually what we consider to be our rebirth. It occurs for, in the vernal equinox for the southern hemisphere. Anyway, as a 9-month, December 2013 is about tasks and projects that were initiated in April, and anything that is no longer needed is wrapped up and moved out to get ready for a new cycle. It also brings new energy to whatever has begun must be completed. So this month is a time to tie up loose ends so that we can clean our plate for something new, as events are beginning to give us a hint about a new direction to take. Like I said, December and also February are about clearing out old people, places, and things to make room for their new counterparts, which are going to emerge in March of next year. The 9 is represented by the Hermit archetype in the Tarot cards. This is again about completion, contemplation, and introspection. This is the archetype of the wise lantern burner, the way shower whose life experience guides others through similar passageways. Before I get into the daily energy for One Lamat or Star, on December 4th, all the planets are appearing to be moving forward from our vantage point on Earth, except for Jupiter and Uranus. They're on the backside of the Earth, and as we're moving this way, we're passing them on the inside, so they're looking like they're moving in reverse from our perspective here on Earth. I've discussed in depth the implications of other planets moving retrograde in past reports. I'm just going to keynote these ones really quickly. Jupiter, king of the gods, and it's the planet about good fortune, opportunity, faith, religion, beliefs, expansion. It's in Cancer. Cancer is about the home, the family, nurturing, and protection. Mostly what I find when Jupiter is retrograde, as with any retrograde cycle, it's about reviewing the past. Jupiter, so what are we reviewing? We're reviewing missed opportunities. That's what people get into when Jupiter is retrograde. And in Cancer, they are likely to be related to the home and family. Retrograde Uranus in Aries is seeking to shake our very foundation, to shock us, to awaken, and forces us to embrace a new way of living through reversals and unexpected events. The real big change in One Lamat or Star is Mars is changing signs. It's moving from Virgo into Libra. December brings a fair amount of chaos as a month unfolds, with Venus being retrograde in Capricorn and Mars moving into Libra and opposing Uranus and squaring Pluto. So once it's over here, it's going to be opposite that planet, and it's going to be in a 90-degree angle to Pluto up there. So I'm really hoping at this point we're well aware of the value, our value as being individuals, and so that we can share our gifts, so that we can also flow through all these rapid, unexpected changes in our journey in this whitewater rafting trip that I've been calling 2013. Mars is in its detriment in Libra because it's opposite Aries, the sign of Martian rulership, and is traditionally considered to have difficulty operating positively in Libra. And then because of his retrograde cycle, Mars will spend 8 months in the sign of the scales. And we've spoken over past reports about the Uranus-Pluto square's energy to transform power structures through rebellious actions of individuals. With Mars, the god of war, joining the party, it's going to get even more aggressive, just in time for the holiday season. It's important to realize that the planets seek balance. So they only do damage to that which is out of balance. For instance, Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. Prior to that, Pluto was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about expansion and growth. in the financial markets, we saw just a gluttony. The housing market. Everyone thought the bubble could never burst, even though the tech bubble burst earlier. But that was Pluto in Sagittarius. It hit 2008. It hit Capricorn, and boom. Where the cycle we're in now is about bringing back power, bringing back balance to power structures. This is a planet of transformation. It wants to bring back balance to governments, corporations, and the banking system. Thank God. Which are all in great need of rebalancing. In December, we're adding Mars to which is that warrior archetype, to the mix as he dances not only with Uranus and Pluto, but also with Mercury and the Sun at the end of the month. Now, Mars prefers to be overt in his expression of his aggression. He's not happy in Libra. Think about it. Libra seeking balance and harmony in relationships and social situations. So he's like gritting his teeth behind a forced smile, and I expect we may literally see this metaphor played out in our interactions with friends and families during the holiday season. This is a time between Christmas and New Year's inclusive is ground zero for the Martian desire and obnoxiousness and aggression setting of these larger cycles with Uranus and Pluto. With Uranus at the peak of his power due to its stationary position as it's changing directions, moving from retrograde to direct, means events could be radical, unpredictable, rebellious, and unsettling, as well as upsetting. And so from mid-December onward, I expect people to be really restless, which may lead to reckless behavior, as there is an overwhelming sense of needing to be liberated from anything that's feeling oppressive. This would be a time to look for world events, as we may see unexpected eruptions of violence to topple decaying power structures to restore balance. The greater the imbalance, the greater the backlash to restoring harmony. Martian energy can be constructively channeled into physical activities, so don't neglect to get exercise because of any obligations at the end of December. Also, exercise and caution, because accidents are really common when Mars interacts with Uranus, and anger and rage are to be expected with Pluto challenging the god of war. So, however this plays out in your life, try to see its higher purpose, that these events are really about trying to restore balance. Anyway, let's look at the daily vibrational energy for this Trecena. December 4th is One Lamat, a star in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. This is about unity experience through being grateful for abundant relationships. And this is the day we have Mercury moving into Sagittarius. So it's crossing over from our perspective into the sign of the happy wanderer. This ushers in an optimistic view of life, a sense of faith, and seeing the big picture. And this is great la-maught energy. La-maught is about abundance. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Again, it's about abundance. This brings 3 weeks when people will prize freedom of expression and find censorship unbearable. It also brings a restlessness to our thoughts, as we might find ourselves dreaming about exploring different cultures or longing to travel. Education is also really favored under Mercury in Sagittarius, whether it's through reading or exploring new ideas or learning about other people. It's joining the sun in the sign of the happy wanderer, and then they can really work together towards similar goals and a new sense of purpose. With the Capricorn moon in harmony with Neptune, challenged by Uranus and merging with Pluto, it brings a day to start that starts with having a greater sensitivity to others' emotions, with possible psychic impressions for those who are open to that type of experience. Then later, people are likely to act hasty and jump to conclusions. And then finally, we have more intense moods rising to the surface from deep in our psyches. And then the 5th, we have 2 Maluk, our offering, duality experience through appreciating creation, while the moon in Capricorn is in harmony with Saturn and opposing Jupiter and merging with Venus, which shifts from wanting to be alone in our thoughts and feelings to later having feelings of generosity. And then after that, the moon is merging with Venus, where it feels cheerful and warm, gregarious, and wants to go out and socialize. December 6th is 3 Auk, or dog, taking action through enjoying family and friends. And at this point, we've got Mercury in a square to Neptune. Okay, so from our perspective here on Earth, this is a 90-degree angle. Okay, this can really confuse communication, but it also favors creative and spiritual activities. So watch out for exaggeration and boasting. It will also cross over into outright lying. Mercury is also communication, and an aspect to Neptune. For a day or so, we have the potential for confusion about the details of mundane daily events, but a wonderful potential to connect with spiritual realms through being in nature or engaging in some form of inner work. Overall, it's best to carefully formulate exactly what you wish to communicate, because if it could be misunderstood, and it probably will. Daydreaming is also to be expected under this type of influence. It's not a great day for negotiations or signing contracts, as those activities will not be clear under the Neptunian fog. We also have the moon finding support from Mars, stimulated by Mercury and Uranus. So the day begins with feeling a little more confident than usual, with the ability to assert ourselves in a positive manner. And then later, there's like lots of chatting with friends and neighbors, co-workers. And then finally, it's a pleasant feeling of rest, but sort of restless feelings too. Craving emotional excitement to do something outside of the daily routine under the influence of Uranus. And then on the 7th, we have 4 Shuin, or monkey, in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. This is stability through creating something new. And at this point, Mars moves into Libra. And which we talked about at the beginning of the report. So aside from what I've already said, this placement can bring fluctuations in the sex drive, as Libra is idealistic and favors aesthetic involvements, where crudeness is a turnoff. You know, think about it. Mars is our sexuality, our drive. Libra is like weighing the options, you know. So this could be a time where folks desire a more cultivated, sophisticated lovers, but it could also be weighing the pros and cons of even getting involved. On the 7th, the moon in Aquarius is in harmony with the Sagittarius sun and challenged by Saturn, at which point it turns void of course at 7:11 a.m. until moving into Pisces at 3:34 a.m. on the 8th, the following day. The day shifts from having feelings of inner and outer equanimity to people feeling lonely and isolated. And then at 7:11 a.m., and this is Eastern Standard Time, the void of course moon warns against making major decisions and purchases until 3:34 a.m. the following day, on what is likely to be a very big holiday shopping day. So this is a good time for resting, and leave the shopping for another day. December 8th is 5 Ebb, or Roe. This is about empowerment through serving your community, as the Pisces moon merges with Neptune and is challenged by Mercury and is in harmony with Pluto. The emotional energy moves from feelings of empathy for those around us, including the possibility of clairvoyance and telepathic experiences for people who are sensitive by nature. Then our moods begin influencing our ability to think rationally. And finally, we're experiencing deep emotions felt on a profound level when Pluto becomes involved. And then the 9th, we've got 6 Ben, or reed, or corn. It's about being in the flow through maintaining the home. while the first quarter moon in Pisces is challenged by the Sun and supported by Saturn and Jupiter, the day moves from encountering challenges to our daily routines and then settles into a more sober, realistic view of life to later having a pleasant sense of well-being when Jupiter is involved. December 10th is 7 Ish or Jaguar. This is about reflection through enjoying nature in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar with Mercury, and it is in a trine to Uranus. So Uranus over here in Aries, Mercury here in Sagittarius. This is a 120-degree angle in the trine. This is supportive of both lower and higher minds with the stimulation that fosters the awakening and innovating experiences. What we lose in care and discipline in our thinking, we make up for in intuition. Rigidity and unwillingness to deviate from the day's plan make for a more difficult day. A great day to look at your old problems with new eyes, perhaps seeing them in a way that was not available before this time period. So we're looking at with a totally fresh approach. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is about our personal thinking and communicating. Uranus is about transpersonal communicating with something larger than ourselves. This is a very stimulating transit, which raises conscious awareness and brings more of a love for life. It's a desire to seize the day. So carpe diem. New ideas come really quickly with solutions for a problem that's been perplexing. Somehow it's all of a sudden available under this influence after being unavailable for days leading up to this time period. The energy is looking for us to break out of a routine and just go out and do something out of the ordinary. It favors studying a new topic, particularly astrology, science, math, technology, or the occult. Also on the 10th, we have the moon in harmony with Venus, opposed by Mars, merging with Uranus. This gives us a day that begins with wanting to be with family and the people we love, and then later is opposed by Mars, which influences people to be more excitable and irritable, which can cause problems in our personal lives. And then finally, people are feeling impulsive and acting rashly, with moods changing quickly and unexpectedly when the moon dances with Uranus. The 11th is 8 Men or Eagle. This is about balance through seeing from a higher perspective. I thought so. Seeing from a higher perspective, sorry. So what we have is we have Mercury being challenged by Chiron, bringing healing or a wounding quality to our thoughts and feelings, while the Aries moon finds support from Mercury and the Sun and is challenged by Pluto and Jupiter. The day moves from feeling in touch with our emotions and expressing them to others to then having the compulsion to act in ways that may not be good for us in the long run, and then later feeling benevolent and generous towards those in our immediate environment. And then finally, having a sense of inner harmony, which is mirrored in our outside world. On December 12th, it's 9 Ki, or wisdom. This is about patience experienced through introspection, meditation, and forgiveness, while Jupiter trines Saturn. So from our perspective here on Earth, Jupiter is forming a 120-degree angle to Saturn. This is very beneficial gathering of these two powerhouses. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer as it finds comfort and expands to meet the emotional needs of Cancer. Saturn is in Scorpio. This is in mutual reception. So Saturn in Scorpio is in mutual reception to Pluto in Capricorn. What that means is Saturn is in Scorpio, that's ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is in Capricorn, which is ruled by Scorpio, by Saturn. So this is really very positive. With Jupiter in the mix, it's a time where those experiences yield a payoff from what we've been working on creatively, but also as far as anything that's been a transformative project. This may feel like an oasis in the expansive desert of the Uranus-Pluto squares. So you can drink deeply at this time, enjoy the gifts, prepare your camel for the long journey ahead. Jupiter brings gifts to renew our bodies, our minds, and inspiration. And with Jupiter, we can see the whole, but Saturn allows us to see the details. This is truly a time where we can see the forest and the trees. It's a great time to expand a business or start a new one or branch out into a new area. And with the moon, it's being challenged by Venus in harmony with Neptune, which goes from having a real pleasant energy for being with friends and loved ones to later being very sensitive to the moods of others. The 13th is Ten Kaban, or Earth. This is about manifestation through gratitude for Mother Earth. And we've got the moon in Taurus, which is an Earth sign, finding support from Pluto, also in an Earth sign, Capricorn. This brings out intense emotion, stimulating sensitivity, but it also favors sexual relationships on this date of gratitude for Mother Earth. The 14th, December 14th, we have 11 Etsnob or Flint. This is about resolution through introspection, with the moon in Taurus in harmony with Jupiter opposing Saturn and supported by Venus. The day begins with feeling in the flow and having a sense of wholeness, while also feeling a little bit lonely and isolated under the influence of Saturn. So what we're seeing is we've got this Jupiter-Saturn energy merging, which really kind of balances each other out. And then later this shifts to enjoying pleasant feelings and social interactions with Venus's influence. The 15th is 12 Kawak or Storm, understanding through recognizing the gifts of adversity according to the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. With the Gemini moon is challenged by Neptune, supported by Mars, and stimulated by Uranus. The day's emotional wave moves from daydreams and fantasies feeling more important than reality to Mars bringing the energy for asserting ourselves in a positive manner and standing our ground if necessary. And then later, pleasant yet restless energy that desires emotional excitement with Uranus. December 16th, 13 Ahau, or Sun. This is movement to the next stage through honoring the wisdom and memory of our ancestors, as the moon in Gemini is opposed by Mercury, and it has some people experiencing real conflict between feelings and reason, and others will be having fruitful expressions of their deeper awareness, either internally or in a dialogue with someone else. So no matter what these energies are affecting you during the one star trisena, take some time out to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection or meditation, or being truly conscious with somebody you love. Every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what the dramas are that are beckoning to distract us. We're all here just given the performance of our lifetime on the world stage. Just take some time out, though, to observe the play, as well as act your part by remembering you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. As always, thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on December 17th for One Amish or Crocodile, the beginning of a new Tzolkin round. We'll also be talking about the Gemini full moon, Uranus moving direct, the Sun moving into Capricorn for the solstice, Venus turning retrograde, and Mercury moving into Capricorn. That's going to be a big one. Anyway, all that stuff in one report. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and the Mind Magics website. I encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose. I'll be discussing the astrology of 2014 with an emphasis on January and providing short human design readings to the participants of the Earth Needs Rebels show on Orion Talk Radio on Wednesday, January 1st. So for your New Year's Day, maybe make a plan to rendezvous with me at about 1:30 and that's Eastern Standard Time on Orion Talk Radio for the Earth Needs Rebels show. As always, I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com. If you have any questions or wish to schedule a reading, I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. These readings are designed to provide you the information to help you navigate these difficult times. At the basic level, we're going to look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority in making life decisions based on your unique design. I include 3 months of astrological transits as they relate to your natal and progressed astrology chart, along with the human design reading at the middle level, and then at the top level, the human design reading and astrology transit reading will be recorded and sent to you as an MP3 file that you can download to your computer. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me, as I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to either be able to call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect on Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to help keep these reports freely available. The best way to make a donation is get a reading, or, buy a reading for someone else. These are tremendous gifts. Nobody enjoys, people just love learning more and more about themselves from these type of readings. So feel free to give the gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, as always, I am totally blessed that you've taken the time out to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. In Lakesh. And I hope to connect with you real soon in another one of these reports, or in a reading. That would be great. Or on the radio show. Feel free to connect. The readings on those are about 10, 15 minutes long, but it will give you an idea of what I offer you. So anyway, peace, everybody. I am so grateful that you are a part of this experience with me, and without you, there would be no experience. So thank you. I'm very, very grateful.